To get started, I need to read what the sticky notes say and follow the directions. The first one says, add a go to X, Y block from the motion blocks to get the character to go to the start spot when the green flag is clicked. So right now, I see my character at the start. So I'm going to be in my motion blocks and I'm going to click go to X, Y. I'm not going to change those numbers. Now that I'm finished with that sticky note, I'm going to click on the arrow to make it smaller so that I know where I left off. The next thing that we need to do is we need to code our arrow keys so that our character will move when we click our arrows. The first thing that we're going to do is code the down arrow. So it says to add a point in direction down block. So I'm going to click the point in direction and drag it under the down arrow. Sometimes CS first skips down a little bit. All I have to do is click on the light gray bar and drag it up to go back to where I was. So this says point in direction 90. When I click on the numbers, it shows me an arrow for where our character is going to be pointing. Right now, it's pointing to the right. I want to click and drag so that arrow is pointing down and it automatically changes my number. Now I'm going to click out, minimize that sticky note, and move on. I'm going to do the same thing for the up, right, and left arrow. Going to do point in direction, click on the numbers, point up. And I also need to have a move 10 steps block. I forgot to put that on my down arrow. Need to do move 10 steps. For my right arrow, point in direction. When I click on the numbers, it's already pointing to the right. And then I'm going to do move 10 steps. And my last one is left. Point in direction, click on it. Instead of 90, I'm going to drag it all the way to the left and it will say negative 90 and then move 10 steps. Now it's time to test it out. I'm going to click on the green flag, down, up, right, left. I'm going to click on the stop. Now when I click on the flag, my character should jump back to the original starting spot. Yep, we're good to go. Now I'm going to minimize all of these sticky notes since I finished with them and scroll down. This sticky note says this block is set up so that forever, when playing this game, if the character runs into the black walls, then a conditional statement can happen. Make it so the conditional statement moves the character back to the start when touching a blue wall. So I'm going to click minimize that. It says add a go to XY block to make the character return to the start location. So now my character is in that original start location. In my motions tab, I'm going to click go to XY if my character is touching that black. So I'm going to minimize that. Scroll down a little bit. My last one says use the eyedropper to make sure you have the exact color of the walls. So I'm going to click where that is. The walls are not black, they're blue. So I need to take the dropper tool. I'm going to hover over my wall and click on it, then click out, and that's changed. I'm going to test it out. So I'm going to click on the flag, move down. If I touch the wall, it bumps me right back. The last thing we need to do is this line of code. It says this event block is set up so that forever when playing this game, if the character runs into the red finish, so if the character runs into the red finish line, then a conditional statement can happen. Make it say, you win, then go back to the start, and then ask the player to play again. So I'm going to minimize that sticky note. It says add a say 4 seconds block, change it to say you win. So I'm going to go to the looks block. I'm going to drag where it says say hello for 2 seconds. Instead of hello, I want to click in there, click backspace and type you win exclamation point, and I'm going to keep it there for 2 seconds. Then now that and I'm going to make sure my character is back at that start, I'm going to go to the emotions block. Need to scroll it down a little bit. See, sometimes it just jumps around. And I'm going to click the go to XY. I don't need to change those numbers because my character is already on the start block. Then it says move this completed if touching red color block under the if touching blue block in the previous forever loop and see what happens. Can you have two if statements in one forever loop and still have it work? So let's test it out. I'm going to drag this if touching block underneath of the if touching blue block. And now I'm going to click start. Let's test it out. I'm going to move. Let's see if my hitting the walls will send me back. Yes, it does. Okay, now I need to go through the whole maze. Go down to the finish. And it says you win and sends me back to the start block. Now, the last thing that I want to do is after my character has won and gone back to the start, I want to ask by going into the looks block, dragging the say hello block. I want it to say play again, question mark. And let's see what happens. Go through the maze. Don't hit the walls. Says you win. Takes me back to start and says play again. All right, happy coding.